this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings, you're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobuki Jake, and we're here to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
So we got some fun stuff here.
Yes.
I actually had 6 items, but Jake insisted on 7 items because he's got some big stuff to show us. Matter of fact, he's got the biggest stuff.
Well, we could have done 6, but I had one I wanted to throw in just to get out of the way.
So I'm just going to jump in and show off something here. Now, out of these, one is not like the others because, well, it's the 7th one. It's the odd man out. And that is one that does not fit with this theme in the slightest, other than I got it used. And that was Journey to the Center of the Earth. This is the original version of this film.
Did I see Pat Boone?
Yes, Pat Boone. 1959. Yes, that Pat Boone. Yes, Pat Boone, James Mason, and Arlene Dahl. And, of course, it covers the Jules Verne book. Jules Verne? No.
Yeah, I believe so.
Hey, but somebody.
Wells or Verne, one of them.
No, one Wells.
Okay, then Verne.
I used to love reading those books. I'm not a huge reader, but I used to love reading that. I loved 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And there's an odd charm about this. I mean, they're traveling there, and their guide has a duck, and the duck is traveling with them as they're going to the center of the earth. And it's just really cool to get this. This is way out of print. We talk about ones that need a re-release, maybe even a Criterion. This would be a good one to have. So I'm just glad to get it. I found a copy that was Goodwill online. They had it for $5 when everybody else is charging like $50. So I said, you know what? I'm getting this. And you know what? I got it. Well, on to you. Actually, have you seen this version of it?
I don't believe I have. No, I'll have to one of these days.
I mean, it used to run on TV all the time. But I thought it was rather fascinating for something done in that day and age. I shared a couple of screen captures with the group.
Yes, I love that one.
Matter of fact, the picture of the guy with the duck is the cover of our vlogcast tonight.
Nice. Okay. So, I have a theme. I do have a theme, an overarching theme for mine. And that theme is called eBay. And so, the first one is a random one. I will admit, random. I happened to find a seller who was selling brand new unopened copies of a number of Essentials releases from Funimation, which naturally, as much as we like to rag on those, it seemed essential to look into it. And of course, it's one of those things where everyone waited till the last minute to start bidding, and I thought I was going to end up with more than just one. Let's put it that way. A couple of them I actually quite wanted, and the one I ended up with was one I had totally forgotten even existed. But it looks fun. And it's a show called Mikagura School Suite. And so basically, Erona Ichinomiya has no desire to focus on what high school to pick. She'd rather spend her time chasing after pretty girls or playing dating sims. After all, when the only job you want to watch is to watch TV all day, who cares what school you attend? But when her cousin shows her the pamphlet to Mikagura Academy, Erona finds her picture-perfect reason to go to high school, the beautiful Seisa Mikagura. And after a bizarre entrance exam and an interview with a flying, talking cat, it's clear that Mikagura is not a typical high school, etc., etc. I like the idea of a flying, talking cat being involved in the entrance exam. So this looks fun. I did not pay a lot for it, even by essential standards. It's nice to, pick up random stuff now and then. I would have liked to have gotten Inari Konkon or Hanebadu or one of the others, but yeah, not bad.
Well, my theme is really about a place, and that is Otaku Joe's.
Ah.
Now,
he factors into this as well.
He is usually a convention seller, but conventions have, kind of had an issue as of late. And that issue is,
yeah.
It's not exactly convention season right now.
No.
And of course, the prices are convention prices. You occasionally find a good deal here or there, but I had some money from the stimulus, and I said, you know what? I'm going to try and help out. And if you get a chance, I mean, sellers like this need to stay in business. Get something from him. If he's got something up, buy something. Even if it's for a few dollars more than you might be able to get off of, say, Amazon or someplace else. You're supporting a good cause. You're supporting a good person. Check it out. He's on Facebook. If I remember to, I'll put it in the description down below, a link to his stuff so you can check it out. So, my first one is, remember I had I had alluded to a Q in my collection, and that is Queen Emeraldus.
Oh.
This is actually very much out of print.
I've heard of this, though.
And it is an offshoot, of course, of Galaxy Express 999. And unfortunately, this series is a 4-episode series, and 2 episodes got a release here in physical, and that was it. So far, this is all that's been released physically of this series, which is sad. It stars, of course, the Queen and another youth who is going around and getting the stuff going. So I need to figure out how to turn off these notification sounds, because it's getting to be annoying with this stuff. But if I turn off the sound, then I can't hear anything.
Right.
So we'll just have to live with it for now.
I gotta figure that out myself.
For now, anyway. But any case, this is actually a pretty cool one. I enjoyed it. I actually delayed this because of because these are used.
Yeah.
Not all of them, just 3 items, but I wanted to just throw them all in one set, so it's just kind of cool. Yeah. So, in any case, on to you.
Well, that's kind of funny you say that, because I am not familiar with that seller, but I picked up one item, and that is, I held it off in hopes of finishing my viewing. So we are both going to be talking Otaku Joe's. That's kind of fun. But the next one up is something very different. We're getting away from anime for a bit. I placed an order. I've got a mini theme coming up, actually, of stuff related to the upcoming for Inside Movies Galore. So there was one auction that I was watching. And the seller didn't have very many auctions that interested me, but they had a lot of stuff for sale, like just straight up for sale. And I browsed it and found a few things that interested me, but I did find one thing at a very good price that I was like, I really need to have this. And because it's a Best Picture winner. It's a movie that is entertaining. It debatably deserved to beat Raiders of the Lost Ark for original score. It did not deserve to beat Raiders for Best Picture, but it's still a good film. And that is Chariots of Fire. Pretty fun little movie there. And it's a 2-disc edition, special edition.
Oh, good one.
It's got a lot of stuff on it.
I did not know it was about running. I don't know why. I did not realize it was about running.
It is about running, yes. And it does feature one of the greatest themes in movie history, which is, like I said, Raiders is also one of the greatest themes in movie history. So it's really hard to say which one actually deserved to win that award. Mostly it's a more than serviceable sports movie. Let's just put it that way. But like I said, had to have it. Look forward to revisiting it one of these days. And yeah, and it wasn't too much. So yeah, good times.
Not bad indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have another anime out here, and this is one I've never seen, but I wanted to get, and I can't remember. I don't think this is out of print, but it's been a little bit harder to get, and that is Tenjo Tenge, which I've been curious about getting a hold of.
Yeah.
It is one I need to actually check out and get done.
That's a relatively recent re-release, isn't it?
It is, and you can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I turned off the system sounds to try and keep out those pesky notifications. It's under the sound mixer area. So, in any case, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So, let's see here. Soichiro and Bob. Oh, that's awesome. Japanese name, traditional Japanese name at that, Bob.
Soichiro and Bob sounds like a great name for a movie.
So they want to rule their new school, but just as they began cracking heads, their plan is shot to hell. First, there's the Natsume sisters and their Juken club. If the older sister, Maya, isn't kicking their ass, then the younger sister, Aya, is trying to force feed Soichiro and make him her husband. Then there's the Student Executive Council that sends executioners to educate anyone who questions the council's authority. Their education is just the beginning. This complete collection contains all 24 episodes of the TV series and the 2 episodes of Ultimate Fight OVA. So it's kind of cool to have that as a total. So this is a good complete package here. It's been one that's for a while in my collection, so I'm glad to get it.
Good deal. All right, my next one will help get me ready for tomorrow. I'll actually have to put this on as soon as we are done with this. And that is Woody Allen's Take the Money and Run.
Very cool.
Which is one of his earliest films. And Virgil Stockwell Allen, having no talent for his beloved cello, turns to larceny as a career. Unfailingly optimistic, he is nevertheless a complete criminal failure, although his prison breakouts are often successful. And with the support of his loving wife, Louise, played by Jeanette Margolin, he may yet pull off a successful bank heist if he can just manage to write out a legible stick-up note.
Have you seen Take the Money and Run yet?
I have, but it's been a minute.
It is probably one of my favorite early Woody Allen films. I mean, as far as his comedies go, it's probably one of his best. It's just got such good humor. When we did
this one is what was that?
when we did our watch party for Schusterman Levine last night, it was just kind of cool how we were able to look at some of the parallels in the two movies. It is too bad we won't have the director with us tomorrow, but these times they just kind of shake us all up, and we just don't get.
You do what you can do, but that is a little bit unfortunate. And a little bit unfortunate with this is that the case is missing a piece. But whatever, it could be worse. This is kind of a rare movie, and I did not pay a whole lot for it, so that's kind of nice. And I look forward to seeing it again.
Well, hey,
and look forward to our discussion tomorrow on Delusions of Grandeur.
Now, if you get the chance, and we do get to where we can meet back here again. If you remind me, I can provide you with a replacement case, and you can just do that. Sometimes a part of
I need to dig up some replacement cases. One thing I was going to present this week, I've still got to figure out. I got one thing in the mail that was smashed to bits. It was so unfortunate.
You see, though, if you can get this one's white, so it's a little bit harder to replace that for the coloration. But if you can get this part, if this is intact, the split, then you can get the replacement cases are not that expensive online, and it's well worth getting them for Blu-ray, and just to have some on hand in case it gets damaged,
Yeah.
But that's really cool. Another one that I just finished watching. And now we'll get to it in the discussion tonight because it feels like we get one go round. So, but it's one that was really cool, and it reminded me of Little Witch Academia a bit, and that is Tweenie Witches.
I've heard of this one too.
I love that cover though. That cover art's awesome, isn't it? And it's got all three series plus the OVA. But there's one problem. You see the problem?
It's a stacker. Lovely.
But it's kind of cool. You've got this girl who ends up having this magic book that her father left her, and she tries to use that as a way to connect her with him. And she ends up being transported to this magical world of witches. And she ends up hooking up with these other two witches, and they're all like 12-ish. That's why they call them tweenie.
Right.
And they get cursed to never get older. So they're going in, they're trying to collect all these fairies, which help power spells for witches in order to get those curses reversed. And it leads into a larger main story. It's just a really fun series. I'm really glad that I got this. This one wasn't really badly priced either. I was quite surprised because it is out of print, and it's hard. You used to not go 5 steps without running over a copy of this in a store.
I think it was usually pieces, though. I probably would have gotten it
of the series, yeah. And this usually goes for a decent price, so I was actually surprised that I got it for as good a price as I did. So I was very happy with that pickup.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I'm very happy with my remaining pickups, and these are all big ones. The first one, again, getting ready for an upcoming Movies Galore venture.
Woo!
I picked up specifically, we will be having a honored guest, I think in about a month's time, slightly more than a month's time. Dan O'Day of Rebel Gaming Club will be joining us to present the Tunbridge trilogy, which features Vermont is for Lovers, Man with a Plan, and Nosy Parker.
It's funny, he doesn't have it on DVD at all.
Really?
Yeah.
And now everyone else does?
Well, you and Dave do anyway.
Yeah. This one, the box is a little beat up. It's seen better days, unfortunately. But as long as everything plays well, I certainly hope they do. And I'm also a little disappointed. I think you showed us Nosy Parker, too. I think the disc is so... It almost looks like they just made it at home. It's kind of worries me a little bit. But
Well, these are very localized,
right,
so it makes sense. I mean, these are little.
not in a box.
It's actually got a pretty nice. It's a pretty nice set for something that's at local.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing these. They look pretty good. It says on the cover, recalls Walt Whitman and Robert Frost, and that's, as an English major, that intrigues me. And it was not bad, given the as you said, it's rare and local.
Yeah.
And I think that ran around 68 or so it's not bad, really. So,
Yeah. I mean, I got a copy new. It's kind of cool, but
yeah.
I tell you, we're just robbing Vermont of their native gifts. But we're taking them out of Vermont. Maybe that's not. Their native wildlife is leaving.
Right.
So my next one's one I know that you would love greatly, and that is Wicked City.
Ooh.
Which is is one of those. I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those shock horror animes. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And from the directors of Ninja Scroll,
that's high praise right there.
And Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
Oh.
So that tells you really want to see this, right?
Yeah, Bloodlust wasn't bad.
But it's been a while, and it's, you got a bunch of these like demons in this city, and this guy is coming in and having to take them out. That's the so simplistic summary I've given this. But this is another discotheque. I get a couple discotheques out of this.
Nice.
It's not as impressive as my last two, but still, it's a fun little one. I was glad to get it in my collection. It's good to have it.
Yep. All right. So, speaking of impressive, as you all know, a couple of coming on a couple months ago, sadly, we finally started our NIS discussion.
Woo!
Finally started it. And at the time, there were, 4 complete series, or at least complete as NIS has them. One series that was a sequel to another, and one season that was a sequel to another that I was missing. And y'all saw that I presented Wagnaria 2 a few weeks back. So, I have made some further strides. A weird irony, though, this item was the only one purchased new, and it's in the worst shape. Yeah. But it is a very rare item. Very rare. Very rarely shows up on eBay at all, let alone at a decent price. And that is Volume 2 of Naruto Crawling with Love.
I know you've been waiting for that one.
I have been waiting for this one. But you see what the issue is. It's very deeply compressed along one side of the box.
They get that way.
Yeah, it's so annoying. It looks like it was probably, the way they call it, a pallet copy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which it still came in very good shape otherwise. I'm sure it will play well, but it's severely disappointing that after all this time I got a copy with a warped box. But this was one where, as we have mentioned before, I believe, Volume 1 got a subsequent standard release on Blu-ray, which I have had for a while. But Volume 2 never got a standard release. It only exists in this form, and it went out of print almost immediately. So, very relieved to have tracked that one down. Yes.
Oh.
And Naruto will have to be one of the next ones I watch. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, I've actually gotten a hold of these tier maker program, and I thought about the idea of doing an NIS one and just starting over once you've gotten as many watched as possible, and then just taking our rankings from S rank to D rank, and then taking the sum of it, and then just showing our rankings for the whole thing. But of course, you still got a long ways to go before you get to that level.
Probably. And of course, shameless plug here. If you haven't already checked out our initial foray into NIS, you should check it out. Yes.
All right. So looking over here, I've got one that I'm sure you will want.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet because it's new. One of my 3 new ones out of this order. And it is the Zombieland Saga Limited Edition set. Funimation.
I want.
The concept of this, when I heard from Anime, what was it? Anime America, when they reviewed this, and it was like a bunch of zombie girls made into a group of idols.
Yes.
It's just right there.
Yeah.
I couldn't help it. I had to get a hold of this, and I had to get a hold of this in the limited if I could. So, yeah. Actually, almost got a copy of it for $40 off of Amazon a while back. I paid much more of it for this, but again, I'm helping out. And
40 is not bad for that.
And 40 was not bad, so I kind of sad I missed it, but you never know.
Yeah.
So, any case, that's I got one more big one at the end. Probably not as big as your big one, but hey.
Incidentally, I think this one was about 120, which again, is not.
That's actually not bad for what it is.
For how rare it is. For how rare it is, it's not too bad.
How many NIS are you left with getting?
I'll wait till the end to answer that. Because next we have one that this one actually was about 77 or so. I have Cult Academy.
Ooh, you got one over me.
Yes.
I've seen it for that price running online. I don't know. I just didn't want to pay $75 for it.
It ended up being a few bucks less than the average I've seen. But it definitely does run a little. But this was one I really wanted for a while. This is another one where the premium practically vanished a while back. And then a weird phenomenon has occurred where this one has been available almost in equal parts, premium and standard, on eBay. But the standard seems more overpriced on eBay than the premium does. It's cheaper, but it seems more overpriced. You know what I mean? So it's like...
I got my standard pretty cheap. It was in the 20s. So
basically, you, I believe, already did a pretty good synopsis of this one on the NIS video, so I won't go too much into it. Mainly, you've got this woman here is the daughter of the principal of an academy for the occult, and she is kind of strange in that she's a tsundere to the nth degree, but she's almost like she's a closet otaku who acts like a tsundere towards her otaku obsessions. And she eventually becomes so towards this guy as well, who's a time-traveling ne'er-do-well. You got this girl who's obsessed with the occult and upset that it never seems to happen to her, even though it always does. She just can't remember.
Oh, yeah, she's my favorite character in that series.
And then this one's her best friend. And this character, I won't go into it because it's a bit of a spoiler, but she's an interesting character. And overall, it's a fun show. I thought it was pretty well done. I thought they kind of ended at an awkward point, but it still could have been worse, could have been better. And glad to finally have it and finally have seen. I can add this to the list of ones I've seen. So at some point, we can do the update videos, I guess, for those shows.
We do our part 2. When we watch what you have, we'll do our part 2, and then we'll just do a quick rundown of each of the series.
All right.
And like I said, I'll run it on Tier Maker. I can actually have it project onto my screen and show us. So it'll work out pretty well. We figured that out pretty cool.
Cool.
Now, what's funny is I rarely have a tsundere character that I look at the target and say, he deserves it 100% and then some.
Yeah.
And that character deserves it 100% and then some. I hate that character.
He is kind of a waste of space. He's not really a bad guy. He's not really a. He's
Not
just
really a
kind,
good
of
guy
kind of a waste of space.
So this last one's one I've wanted for a while. It's not like a grail item, but it is one that I have kicked myself for missing when it was 25, and I had to pay a lot more for. But I finally got it. It's a Z item, which is also fairly. Actually, I got 2 Z items. Those are fairly rare themselves.
Yeah.
And that is the Complete Zone of Enders collection.
Oh, wow.
One of the ones, that one and Tweeny Witches, I had to make sure I watched before I did this.
It's a nice looking box.
It is. It's one of those old ATV boxes.
Yeah.
And it comes with the movie, which sets it all up. And then, of course, I mean, look at that. That's just cool. It's a relatively good mecha anime. And I really did like how they did this. Essentially, the main character of this, because okay, you see these anime, so you would think to yourself when you would see these, I mean, my guess is that you would look at this and you would say somebody like, these would be the main heroes, right? Because they look like, they're kids and they're piloting mech. But no, those aren't the main heroes. These are the main, these are the main heroes. Matter of fact, the guy who's the big hero is this guy. He's a middle-aged truck driver. that alone makes this series worth the purchase because it is. Yes, it is a mecha anime, and they're a dime a dozen, but this one is very unique, and the mecha has a personality of its own. So the mecha itself is a character. And it is a hilarious series. I really enjoyed it. Well, not like super funny, but it's a great series. I love the concept. I like how they went about and did it. I'll be glad to watch it again. It's a shame that it's not in print right now.
Yeah, that's one I'm curious about. I want to see. All right. And so my last one, again, I wasn't even aware of everything that he said at the start of this video. Going into this, I simply saw a deal and I went for it. And this was one that I got through Otaku Joe's. If I had known that it was a theme, I would have brought the little bumper sticker down too. But but at any rate, I picked up something, again, very rare, very out of print, very, very much one I needed to get. And ended up getting it for, all things considered, not a bad price, but definitely more than I wanted to for this particular series, because this one lacks humor almost throughout. And one of the reasons it took so long to present was it took a while to get through a 26-episode series. But I have now gotten and watched parts 1 and 2 of Persona Trinity Soul.
Ooh, you probably got and you probably got a part 2 that's in good shape, unlike me.
Yes, I did. In fact,
that's a hard one to watch through.
It is a hard one to watch.
That is awesome.
Yes.
So you're lacking. I guess the most expensive one you're lacking is Katana Gatari now.
Well, right? As it stands right now, all I am lacking is Katana Gatari and the House of Five Leaves. And Katana Gatari was theoretically available at a high price, but now better than that. But now the only ones being offered are that $1,500 one and the one that is asking $750. And both of them really need to pay attention to the fact that no one's paying that.
Oh yeah, I've been following them just to humor it,
Yes.
and I've noticed and I followed the 1500 one for probably about 4 months now,
Right.
and it has yet to get a single bid.
Well, yeah. And then the House of Five Leaves has the kind of like a Cult Academy. It's kind of split between the standard and the premium editions. And I'm kind of kicking myself now that I had an opportunity to get the standard for as little as 40 and I missed it, partly because I really don't want to pay that much for that series.
Yeah.
But it's those are the only ones missing. But yes.
Well, I got it for like $15 back when it was going on sale.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You got lucky. You got lucky. I thought I was overpaying that much.
I wish I had actually paid attention right before it went out, because I could have paid that price for the premium.
Yeah.
And
well, same here. Like both of us, I don't think either of us decided to get all the NIS until we realized they were, wait a minute, they're disappearing. Yes.
The Kotobuki is the grail item, is surprisingly enough. Though Persona is a huge grail item, because you can find part 1 floating around, but part 2, my gosh, that's a hard one to get.
And they're both usually quite pricey. And I got lucky. So they're but that was it was good times. Watching it was not entirely good times, although I will say this, I'm not going to be as harsh on it as you were. It's a little confusing and a little tedious, but it does bring you in by the end. And it does center on youth as a factor in these, not really mechas, but the personas are similar to mechas in a lot of ways. And there's actually a part where one of the girls comments that I think I know why there's an age limit, and she describes it. And I was thinking, I thought this had an Eva feel to it. Now I'm sure of it. But yeah.
It is one of those where I don't know. I liked it better than Persona Gold, the Persona 4 Gold.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like it as much as I liked the Persona 3 movies. But those were really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, we're kind of behind on the podcast, but
couple minutes.
So, any case, y'all have fun, because we'll be seeing you on the next episode.
Right.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.